Good evening, dreamer, and welcome back to Dreamy Science Stories. I'm glad you're here. Tonight, we're drifting toward a quiet place made of ice and time, a vast white world that rests between land and ocean, where movement is slow enough to feel like stillness. As you settle in, there's nothing you need to understand or remember. No names to hold on to, no numbers to follow. Just the gentle presence of Greenland, stretching wide beneath a soft, filtered light. Here, the ice does not rush. It holds its weight patiently, listening to water moving far below and to the passing of years that feel more like breaths. If these calm journeys help you unwind, you're always welcome to quietly show your support, perhaps with a gentle like, or a soft comment left behind for another curious mind to find. It helps this peaceful space continue to grow, one resting listener at a time. But for now, let your shoulders soften. Let the day fade into the background and allow the ice to carry your thoughts slowly as we begin. From above, Greenland does not immediately look like land. There is no clear sense of shoreline pulling the eye inward, no familiar outline to hold on to. Instead, what appears beneath the sky is a broad, pale surface that feels continuous, fluid, and calm. The ice stretches outward in every direction, resembling an ocean that has slowed enough to rest. From this height, Greenland feels less like an island surrounded by water, and more like water itself, held gently in place by cold and time. What defines most of what is visible on Greenland is not soil or stone, but he says, the land beneath exists quietly, shaped and covered by layers that have settled over it again and again. Sharp edges soften, valleys fill, the surface becomes smoother, broader, and less detailed. Ice takes over the role of shaping what the eye sees, creating a landscape that feels unified rather than varied. In this way, Greenland presents itself not as exposed ground, but as a place where ice has become the dominant expression of the land. Light behaves differently when it meets ice. Rather than sinking inward, it is returned outward, spreading gently across the surface. Sunlight touches Greenland and travels far, moving easily over flat, reflective ice. This reflection creates a brightness that feels even and calm, softening the boundary between sky and ground. Because so little light is absorbed, nothing appears harsh or sharply defined. The ice seems content to share light, allowing it to linger rather than disappear. The ice-covered surface gives the landscape a quiet quality that feels immediate. There are few objects to interrupt sound, few features to return it sharply. Noise, when it exists at all, arrives softened and distant. The land itself seems to absorb disturbance, allowing silence to settle naturally rather than forcing it. This quiet does not feel empty. It feels held, steady, and consistent, as though the ice has learned how to keep sound from becoming urgent. Across wide ice fields, sound does not behave as it does in crowded or uneven places. With no trees, walls, or narrow spaces to shape it, sound spreads thinly and loses its edges. What reaches the ear often feels farther away than its source. There is no echo asking for attention, no sharp return of noise. This openness extends beyond what can be seen, creating a sense that the land itself is acoustically wide. Listening becomes passive here, and whatever sound remains is gently replaced by quiet. The wind in Greenland rarely arrives with force. It does not strike the surface or demand movement from it. Instead, It drifts gently, sliding across the ice as though it has all the time it needs. There is no sense of urgency in its motion, no sharp direction. The air seems to move alongside the land rather than against it, sharing the same slow rhythm. When the wind passes, it leaves no trace behind, only the impression that something moved quietly through. What first appears as a single, empty color begins to change the longer you look. White ice is not blank. It carries subtle differences. Soft blues, pale silvers, faint tones shaped by light and angle. These shades shift gently throughout the day, not dramatically, but enough to suggest depth. Nothing contrasts sharply. Everything blends. The ice holds its colors quietly, revealing variety without asking for attention. The ice simplifies the landscape by removing what is unnecessary. There are few details to follow, few edges to define space. Lines become broad, forms become minimal. This simplicity does not feel lacking. It feels intentional, as though the land has chosen to let go of complexity. Without visual clutter, the eyes relax. There is no need to search, no need to focus. The landscape offers openness instead of information. In wide ice-covered spaces, time begins to feel different, not slower in a dramatic sense, but less demanding. Moments no longer press forward or stack tightly together. There is room between them. Nothing insists on being completed. The feeling of next softens, and the present moment becomes easier to rest within. Here, time feels spread out, allowing stillness to arrive naturally. Standing on the ice sheet, scale becomes difficult to judge. There are no familiar objects to compare yourself to, no trees or buildings to anchor proportion. The ice stretches outward and upward at the same time, creating a sense of height and depth that feels endless. In this vastness, people often feel small, not insignificant, but gently reduced. The land does not overwhelm, it steadies. It reminds the body that there is room enough to slow down, to rest, and to simply remain. Greenland holds one of the Earth's largest ice sheets, a vast body of frozen water that rests quietly across most of the island. Its presence is not dramatic or sudden. It does not rise like a mountain or fall like a cliff. Instead, it spreads outward with calm certainty, covering the land beneath in a slow, even embrace. This ice sheet feels less like a feature and more like a condition. It shapes how light moves, how sound fades, and how space itself feels to anyone who stands upon it. Though it appears still, its size alone gives it a sense of quiet authority, as if the land has learned to live beneath its steady weight. In some places, the ice grows deeper than 3 kilometers. At that depth, the idea of surface begins to lose meaning. Light never arrives. Sound has long since disappeared. What remains is pressure, darkness, and time moving far more slowly than anything above. Layer after layer presses downward, compressing what lies below into a dense, silent mass. The ice here is not something that can be imagined easily. It is not a surface or a landscape, but a depth, a vertical world built from countless winters that have settled gently on top of one another. The ice sheet presses continuously on the land beneath it. This pressure is not sudden, and it does not arrive with force. It is steady, patient, applied evenly over long periods of time. The rock below does not crack or shift dramatically. Instead, it responds slowly, adjusting almost imperceptibly to the presence above. Valleys flatten slightly, surfaces lower by small amounts spread across centuries. The land learns to carry the ice, just as the ice learns how to rest upon the land. Ice moves because of its own weight. There is no engine driving it forward, no sudden release pushing it along. Gravity alone is enough. Under the pressure of its accumulated mass, the ice begins to yield very slowly, spreading outward from its thickest points. This movement is not visible to the eye. It cannot be felt beneath the feet, and yet it is always happening, quietly responding to the simple fact of being heavy. Greenland's ice flows at a pace that resists attention. A single day reveals nothing. A year offers no clear sign of change. Even a lifetime may pass without the movement becoming obvious. The ice prefers long scales of time. Its journey unfolds across centuries, measured not in steps or distances, but in patience. This slow motion allows the ice sheet to remain calm, never rushing toward an edge, never hurrying to arrive anywhere at all. At certain depths, ice no longer behaves like something fixed or rigid. Under the pressure of everything resting above it, the ice begins to change in quiet ways. It does not crack or fracture easily. Instead, it softens just enough to bend. The frozen structure yields slowly, allowing movement without disruption. In this state, ice behaves more like a thick, cold fluid. It flows without splashing. It shifts without breaking. Strength here comes not from resistance, but from the ability to adjust over long stretches of time. This quiet flexibility allows the ice sheet to remain stable, even under immense weight. The Greenland ice sheet is built from countless layers pressed together. Each layer rests gently on the one below, forming a vertical structure that extends deep into the ice. These layers are not sharply separated. They merge softly where one ends and another begins. Over time, the pressure above compresses them further, turning what was once light and airy into something dense and enduring. The stability of the ice sheet comes from this internal balance. Every layer supports and is supported in return. Nothing stands alone. Each of these layers began as snowfall. Snow settled on the surface quietly, one season at a time. Flakes fell, paused, and fell again. No single snowfall was important on its own. What mattered was repetition. As new snow accumulated, older layers were pressed downward. Gradually, soft snow transformed into fern, and fern into solid ice. This process did not require force or speed. It relied on patience, on staying in place, on allowing time to do its work slowly and evenly. Some of the layers within the ice sheet formed long before human history began. They settled here during periods that left no written record, before cities, before names, before memory could be stored anywhere else. These ancient layers remain where they formed. They have not traveled far. They have not been disturbed. Above them, newer ice continues to accumulate, but below, the older layers remain unchanged. They carry the conditions of distant ages quietly, held in place by everything that followed. Within the ice, tiny bubbles of ancient air are trapped. As snowfall compressed into ice, small pockets of the surrounding atmosphere were sealed inside. These bubbles remain intact, They do not mix with the air above. They do not escape. They hold traces of earlier skies, preserved exactly as they were when the snow first fell. The ice keeps these pockets gently suspended, unchanged by the centuries passing overhead. In this way, the Greenland ice sheet does more than hold frozen water. It holds structure, it holds time, and it holds memory, layer by layer, in patient frozen stillness. Pressure deep within the ice alters its structure in ways that cannot be seen from the surface. Far below, where layers have been pressed together for long periods of time, the ice becomes denser and more uniform. Tiny spaces close. Crystals rearrange themselves slowly. The ice does not fracture, it adapts. This internal pressure creates a quiet transformation, one that strengthens the ice, not through hardness, but through cohesion. Deep ice becomes something that can endure without needing to remain rigid. The changes happen gradually, so slowly that the ice never feels the moment of change itself. The ice sheet bends slightly under gravity, not enough to notice from above, not enough to feel beneath the feet, but enough to matter over long spans of time. Under its own immense weight, the ice yields just enough to curve. This bending is subtle, spread across vast distances rather than focused in one place. The ice does not collapse inward, it adjusts outward. The movement is shared across the entire sheet, allowing the structure to remain calm and balanced. This gentle bending helps the ice hold together, absorbing force without sudden movement or breakage. Greenland's ice creates its own elevation. The thickness of the ice sheet raises the surface far above the land beneath it. What appears to be high ground is often ice rather than rock. The elevation comes not from mountains pushing upward, but from accumulation settling downward. Over time, snowfall has lifted the surface higher and higher, building altitude quietly. The ice sheet becomes its own plateau, a high, broad surface shaped by weight rather than tectonic force. This elevation changes how Greenland feels. The air becomes thinner, the light behaves differently, the sense of space grows larger. The top of the ice sheet experiences a different climate than its edges. At higher elevations, temperatures remain lower and conditions stay more stable. Near the edges, the ice is closer to air, land, and ocean. Here, it responds more readily to seasonal change. These differences create quiet contrasts across the ice sheet. The center remains steady and insulated, while the margins experience more variation. Yet even at the edges, change arrives slowly, filtered through layers of ice and time. Temperature within the ice changes gradually with depth. Near the surface, conditions reflect the air above. Deeper down, the ice holds warmth more consistently. Heat moves slowly through frozen layers, never rushing downward. This creates a vertical calm. Sudden changes at the surface do not travel far. The deeper ice remains insulated, buffered from short-term shifts. This gradual temperature change helps preserve the internal structure of the ice sheet. Nothing is exposed all at once. Everything is moderated. Everything is given time to adjust. Ice spreads its weight across a wide area. Rather than pressing downward at a single point, the ice sheet distributes its mass evenly outward. This spreading reduces strain, pressure is shared gently across long distances, allowing the ice to remain stable without concentrating force. The land beneath does not feel sudden stress. Instead, it experiences a steady presence, a weight that is constant rather than demanding. Through this wide distribution, the ice sheet maintains balance, holding itself together without tension. The ice sheet responds slowly to long-term forces. It does not react quickly to short changes or brief disturbances. Instead, it listens to patterns that unfold over many years. Gradual shifts in temperature, subtle changes in snowfall, and long cycles of accumulation all influence the ice gently. This slow response allows the ice sheet to remain calm. It does not rush to adjust. It waits until change becomes consistent, then responds in quiet increments. Greenland's ice once covered a larger area than it does today. In earlier periods, the ice extended farther outward, reaching places that are now exposed land. These changes did not happen suddenly. The ice advanced and retreated slowly, responding to long-term conditions rather than single events. As climates shifted over thousands of years, the ice adjusted its reach, expanding when conditions allowed, and drawing back when they did not. Ice loss and gain do not occur evenly across the ice sheet. Some areas accumulate more snow, while others lose ice more readily. This uneven pattern creates gentle variation across the surface. No single region defines the state of the whole. Each area responds to its own balance of conditions, moving at its own pace. These differences unfold quietly, without clear boundaries or sudden transitions. The ice sheet is still adjusting to its environment. It continues to respond to forces acting upon it slowly and without urgency. This adjustment is ongoing. There is no final state to reach, no moment of completion. The ice does not hurry toward equilibrium. It moves gradually, absorbing change over time, finding balance again and again. In this way, the Greenland ice sheet remains present rather than finished. It holds its structure while continuing to adapt, resting within motion and adjusting without disturbance. Liquid water exists beneath Greenland's ice. Even in a place defined by cold and stillness, water continues to move quietly below the surface. This water is not visible from above. It does not shimmer or reflect light. It remains hidden, resting in darkness beneath layers of ice that feel solid and unmoving. The presence of liquid water here is gentle rather than dramatic. It does not announce itself. It simply exists, continuing its slow work beneath the frozen world above. Pressure allows this water to remain liquid below freezing. The immense weight of the ice sheet presses downwards, changing how water behaves. Under this pressure, water does not freeze as easily. Molecules are held close, preventing them from locking into rigid structures. This means that even at temperatures where surface water would be solid, water below the ice can remain fluid. It flows slowly, protected by the very weight that rests above it. Pressure becomes a quiet guardian, allowing movement to continue in a place that appears completely frozen. Subglacial lakes are hidden beneath the ice sheet. These lakes form where water collects in low areas of the bedrock below. They do not have shores that can be walked upon. They do not ripple in the wind. They are shaped instead by gravity, pressure, and time. Some of these lakes are large, Others are small. All of them remain concealed, existing entirely beneath kilometers of ice. Their presence is known not through sight, but through subtle signals. Slight changes in the ice movement, gentle shifts detected over long observation. These lakes never receive sunlight. No ray reaches them. No reflection dances on their surface. They exist in complete darkness, where light has no role to play. Here, time is not measured by day or night, but by slow cycles of accumulation and release. In the absence of light, temperature remains stable. Conditions change very gradually. These lakes do not feel the passing of seasons. They remain isolated from surface rhythms, resting quietly in the dark, untouched by weather or sky. Water can flow through channels inside the ice. As meltwater forms near the surface, it sometimes finds paths downward. These channels are not carved quickly. They develop slowly, guided by weaknesses within the ice and shaped by gravity. Water moves through them silently, never rushing, never breaking the ice apart. Some channels open briefly, others persist longer. All of them remain hidden, their paths changing gradually over time. Within these channels, water travels without light, without sound, and without urgency. It follows the quiet logic of pressure and slope, moving only as fast as the ice allows. Meltwater moves quietly beneath the surface. Once water finds its way below the ice, it rarely announces itself again. There is no splashing, no sudden release of sound. Movement happens slowly, guided by narrow paths and gentle slopes. The water adapts to the space it is given. It flows only as fast as the surrounding ice allows, slipping through darkness without disturbance. In this hidden world, water becomes patient, learning how to move without leaving a trace. Water beneath the ice reduces friction between ice and rock. Where liquid water spreads thinly along the base, the boundary between ice and ground becomes smoother. The ice no longer presses directly against solid stone. Instead, it rests on a subtle layer of movement. This thin presence changes how the ice responds to gravity. Rather than gripping tightly, the ice is able to slide very gently. The difference is small, but over long periods of time, it becomes meaningful. This reduction in friction does not cause sudden motion. It allows the ice to adjust its movement quietly, without stress or breakage. Because of this, water can influence how ice moves, not by pushing, but by easing resistance. Where water is present, ice responds slightly differently to its own weight. Movement becomes smoother, more evenly distributed. These changes are not visible from the surface. They do not alter the shape of the ice abruptly. Instead, they guide motion gently, helping the ice flow in calm, measured ways. The ice remains slow. The water simply helps it remain balanced. Meltwater often refreezes within the ice. As water travels downward, it may encounter colder regions where freezing becomes possible again. When this happens, the water does not disappear. It becomes part of the ice once more. This refreezing process releases small amounts of heat, which are absorbed slowly by the surrounding ice. The change is subtle. Nothing dramatic occurs. Water becomes ice again, and the ice quietly adjusts around it, maintaining stability without disruption. Ice can temporarily store liquid water. Not all water moves quickly through the system. Some of it remains held within pockets, channels, or layers. These temporary stores allow the ice sheet to manage water gradually. Instead of releasing everything at once, the ice holds and delays movement. This storage acts as a quiet buffer, moderating how water travels downward and outward. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is lost suddenly. The ice decides when water is released and when it is held a little longer. Water transports heat through the ice sheet. As liquid water moves beneath and within the ice, it carries warmth with it, slowly and quietly. This heat does not travel far or fast. It spreads gently, absorbed by surrounding ice over long periods of time. There is no sudden melting, no sharp change. Instead, the ice responds gradually, softening slightly where warmth passes, then returning to balance once the water moves on. Heat becomes another subtle influence, guiding change without forcing it. Some subglacial lakes persist for very long periods. Hidden beneath kilometers of ice, they remain stable and undisturbed. These lakes are not temporary pools. They do not appear and vanish quickly. They hold their shape quietly, maintained by pressure, insulation, and steady conditions. Time passes above them without effect. Seasons change. Ice shifts slowly overhead. Yet the lakes remain, contained within darkness, unchanged by surface rhythms. Their persistence adds to the sense that movement beneath the ice does not require urgency. Water beneath the ice follows gravity. Even when unseen, it moves in response to slope and depth. This movement is not direct. Water does not take the shortest path. It follows the paths allowed by ice and rock, turning gently, descending gradually. Gravity guides without haste. Water listens, adjusting its direction quietly as conditions change. The journey downward may take a long time, and that time is not resisted. Meltwater does not rush toward the ocean. Once beneath the ice, water loses any sense of speed. It may pause, it may spread thinly, it may refreeze and wait. Only when pathways allow does it continue onward, and even then, its progress is calm and measured. The ice sheet decides the pace. Water follows that decision without struggle. Ice controls how quickly water is released. Through pressure, structure, and temperature, the ice acts as a gatekeeper. Some water is held back. Some is delayed. Some never leaves the ice at all. This control prevents sudden change. It allows the system to remain steady, absorbing movement slowly rather than reacting all at once. In this way, ice and water remain in quiet conversation, each responding to the other without disturbance. Seasonal meltwater does not always complete a journey to the sea. When snow melts at the surface, the resulting water does not immediately leave Greenland. Instead, it enters a system designed for delay. Some of this water begins to move downward, guided by gravity and small variations in pressure. But movement here is not direct. Paths are narrow. Temperatures shift with depth. Before reaching the ocean, meltwater often pauses. It slows. It spreads thinly. It encounters colder layers where motion becomes difficult. In many cases, the journey ends early. Water refreezes within the ice, becoming part of the structure it briefly left behind. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. This process allows the ice sheet to absorb seasonal change without passing it on immediately. Warmth arrives. water forms, and then, quietly, the system settles again. Greenland has rivers that flow across ice surfaces during warmer periods. These rivers do not behave like those on land. They do not carve valleys or gather sediment. They rest lightly on the ice, following shallow slopes and gentle curves. Their paths are temporary, drawn by surface conditions that exist only for a short time. Water moves across the frozen surface in thin channels, often clear, often quiet. There is no urgency in their flow. These rivers are not permanent features. They are expressions of momentary balance between temperature, sunlight, and surface shape. As conditions change, these surface rivers begin to thin. Flow slows. Movement becomes hesitant. When temperatures drop, the rivers disappear. Water refreezes. Channels soften. The ice closes over gently, leaving little evidence that movement ever occurred. The surface returns to stillness, ready to hold snow once more. Much of Greenland's water remains hidden from view. It does not sparkle in sunlight. It does not gather in visible lakes. Instead, it stays beneath the ice, moving slowly through unseen channels, resting in subglacial lakes, or remaining suspended within frozen layers. This hidden water plays an essential role without demanding attention. It influences movement, it carries heat, it reduces friction. Yet it remains out of sight, allowing the surface world to appear calm and unchanged. What lies below does not announce itself. It simply continues. Ice acts as a filter between snow and ocean. Snow falls from the sky, but it does not pass directly into the sea. First, it becomes part of the ice sheet. It is compacted, stored, delayed. Along this path, water is slowed, sometimes redirected, sometimes held for long periods. Only a portion of the original snowfall ever reaches the ocean, and even then, it arrives gradually. This filtering prevents sudden release. It protects the system from abrupt change. It allows Greenland to respond to warming or cooling with restraint rather than reaction. Through this process, the ice sheet becomes more than frozen water. It becomes a mediator, deciding how quickly change is allowed to move through the landscape. Water is not denied. It is managed. It is given time. In this hidden system, nothing rushes towards completion. Movement unfolds slowly. Pause is common. Water waits beneath ice. Ice waits beneath snow. Even release waits for balance. This waiting does not stop motion. It shapes it. It ensures that every change arrives gently, absorbed across years rather than moments. As Chapter 3 comes to rest, the presence of water inside the ice feels steady and contained, not trapped, not free, held, hidden beneath a surface that appears still. Water continues to move, to wait, and to respond, quietly maintaining balance in a frozen world that is never entirely frozen. Along the outer edges of Greenland, where land slowly gives way to the sea, the coastline does not form a simple line, but unfolds into a complex pattern of deep, narrow inlets that reach far inland. These long cuts into the land are fjords, and they give Greenland's coast a feeling of depth rather than boundary. Instead of ending abruptly, the land opens itself gently to the ocean, creating quiet corridors where water and rock meet over great distances. From above, the coast appears carefully folded, shaped not by sudden force, but by long patience. These fjords were carved by glaciers over very long periods of time, through a process that relied more on persistence than power. As massive bodies of ice moved slowly through valleys, they pressed against the rock beneath them, grinding and smoothing rather than breaking. Each advance and retreat left subtle marks, gradually deepening the channels and widening their walls. What now holds seawater once held moving ice, and the shape of the fjords still remembers that slow passage. Glaciers move downhill under their own weight, guided quietly by gravity rather than intention. There is no push from behind, no sudden release sending them forward. Instead, the accumulated mass of ice yields just enough to allow motion, responding to slope and pressure with patience. This movement does not announce itself. It unfolds too slowly to be noticed in a single glance, yet it continues steadily, shaping the land over centuries. Across Greenland, many glaciers begin high on the ice sheet and extend outward toward the coast, forming long, gentle pathways between the interior and the sea. They carry with them the conditions of their origin: cold, pressure, and time, from far inland to lower elevations. As they travel, they link the frozen center of Greenland to its edges, connecting distant snowfall to coastal waters without haste. Their journey is not directed toward arrival, but simply follows the quiet logic of gravity. The movement of these glaciers is slow and steady, resisting any sense of urgency. Days pass without visible change. Seasons come and go without obvious progress. Yet, over long spans of time, the ice does move, advancing calmly and consistently. This steady pace allows the glacier to remain stable, avoiding sudden shifts, choosing continuity over speed, and maintaining balance as it travels. Beneath a moving glacier, the ice smooths and reshapes the rock below it. Rather than tearing the ground apart, it polishes it, pressing small fragments of stone against larger surfaces and wearing them down gently. Over time, sharp edges soften and rough textures become even. The land is not broken by this contact. It is refined, reshaped slowly by constant presence rather than force. In this way, the edges of Greenland tell a story that is not loud or dramatic. They speak, instead of slow transitions, of ice giving way to water without conflict, and of land that has learned how to be shaped patiently. The fjords, the glaciers, and the coast itself exist together in a quiet balance, marking the place where one state gradually becomes another. As glaciers reach the lower elevations near the coast, they begin to encounter seawater, and this meeting happens without drama or sudden change. The ice does not collide with the ocean. It arrives gradually, thinning and slowing as it approaches the edge. Here, the frozen journey that began far inland gently meets moving water, creating a space where neither fully dominates. This boundary is not sharp. It is shared, patient, and quietly balanced. Within these fjords, where ice and seawater coexist, the water is often calm. Surrounded by tall rock walls and sheltered from the open ocean, the fjords limit wind and wave. The surface rests quietly, reflecting light rather than breaking it apart. Movement exists, but it is subtle, shaped more by slow currents than by force. In these narrow inlets, the sea seems content to pause, holding still long enough to mirror the ice above it. When glaciers finally reach the ocean, icebergs begin to form. not through sudden collapse, but through a slow and careful separation. The ice responds to buoyancy and stress by releasing large pieces gradually. There is no explosion, no sharp sound demanding attention. Instead, the ice yields calmly, allowing sections to drift away at their own pace. Each iceberg carries with it a portion of the glacier's long history, beginning a new chapter of movement that remains unhurried. These icebergs usually separate slowly, easing away from the glacier rather than breaking free abruptly. The process can take time, unfolding over hours or days, sometimes longer. As they drift into the fjord, they remain close for a while, adjusting to the water beneath them. Only after settling into balance do they begin to move outwards, guided gently by currents and tides, continuing the glacier's story without urgency. Once afloat, icebergs melt slowly in the cold water of the fjords. The low temperatures reduce the pace of change, allowing the ice to persist far longer than it would in warmer seas. Melting happens quietly, layer by layer, without visible transformation from one moment to the next. The iceberg does not disappear suddenly. It fades gradually, releasing fresh water into the surrounding salt water in a steady, measured way. As ice moves through fjords, it carries sediments gathered during its long passage across the land. Small particles of rock and soil remain embedded within the ice, traveling with it from inland valleys to coastal waters. When icebergs melt, these sediments settle gently into the fjord below. Over time, this slow delivery reshapes the fjord floor, adding layers without disturbance. The land continues to change, even beneath the water, guided by ice that moves patiently. Fjords themselves serve as quiet connectors, linking ice, land, and ocean into a single system. They are neither fully terrestrial nor fully marine. Instead, they allow all three to exist together, interacting slowly and continuously. Freshwater mixes with salt water. Rock walls meet floating ice. Each element remains distinct, yet none stands alone. Near the coast, ice behaves differently than it does deep within the interior. It becomes more responsive to external influences, adjusting to changes in temperature, water, and movement. This coastal ice experiences a more dynamic environment, yet it still maintains the calm pace that defines Greenland's frozen systems. Change arrives more often here, but it never arrives suddenly. Ice near the coast also responds to tides, rising and falling gently with the movement of the sea. These shifts are subtle, barely noticeable without careful observation. The ice does not resist the tide. It moves with it, adjusting position without losing stability. This quiet interaction allows ice and ocean to remain in constant communication, responding to each other without conflict. Throughout the fjords, light behaves softly, reflected by water and ice alike. Surfaces mirror one another gently, blurring the boundary between above and below. The fjords hold light rather than scattering it, creating an atmosphere that feels calm and enclosed. Nothing flashes or shines sharply. Everything glows with a restraint. At the very edge of the ice sheet, adjustment is constant. The boundary between ice and water shifts gradually, responding to long-term patterns rather than immediate change. Ice advances slightly, then retreats, always finding a new balance. There is no final position, no fixed line marking where ice ends and ocean begins. The edge remains flexible, alive with quiet motion. Here, ice and ocean interact without sharp boundaries. They blend slowly, exchanging heat and movement in ways that feel measured and deliberate. Neither overwhelms the other. Instead, they remain in conversation, adjusting gently as conditions change. Because of this, Greenland's coast often feels quieter than expected. Despite being a place of transition, it does not feel restless. Movement exists, but it is muted. Change occurs, but it is softened by scale and time. The coast invites stillness rather than attention. These edges of Greenland are zones of transition, where one state becomes another without hurry. Ice becomes water. Land becomes sea. Movement becomes rest. Nothing ends abruptly here. Everything shifts slowly, allowing space for balance, reflection, and calm to remain. As floating ice continues its quiet journey through the fjords, the process of melting unfolds so slowly that it often feels as though nothing is happening at all. Cold seawater wraps gently around the ice, limiting how quickly warmth can reach it. Change happens at the surface, layer by layer, never all at once. The iceberg remains present for a long time, softening gradually, as if it is being allowed to let go at its own pace. Within this slow melting, the ice carries with it tiny fragments gathered during its passage across the land. Grains of rock, dust, and sediment remain embedded in the frozen body, held quietly until the ice begins to release them. As melting continues, these particles drift downward, settling gently onto the floor of the fjord. Nothing is dropped suddenly. Everything arrives slowly, adding to the landscape beneath the water without disturbance. Through this steady exchange, fjords become places where ice, land, and ocean are connected rather than separated. They receive material from the interior, hold water from the sea, and shape both into something new. Freshwater mixes with salt water. Sediment settles between rock walls. Ice floats, melts, and moves on. Each element participates without dominance, sharing space in a quiet balance that feels carefully maintained. Closer to the coast, ice behaves differently than it does far inland, responding to a world that is more fluid and less insulated. Here, the ice is influenced by water, air, and motion more directly. It experiences small shifts more often, yet it remains measured in its response. The pace does not quicken. Instead, the ice adapts gently, allowing for change without losing its calm character. Near the shoreline, ice also begins to respond to the rhythm of tides, rising and falling almost imperceptibly with the movement of the sea. These motions are subtle, felt more as adjustments than as actions. The ice does not resist this movement. It follows it, maintaining balance as the water beneath it shifts. This quiet cooperation allows ice and ocean to remain in continuous conversation, responding to one another without interruption. In the fjords, light plays a role that is equally gentle. Reflections stretch across water and ice, softening edges and blurring boundaries. The surface does not sparkle or flash. It glows faintly, holding light in a way that feels contained. This reflection adds to the sense that nothing here is sharply defined. Everything blends, allowing the eye to rest rather than focus. At the edge of the ice sheet, change is constant, yet never abrupt. The boundary between ice and water shifts slightly, advancing or retreating in response to long-term patterns. There is no fixed line that marks where ice must stop. Instead, the edge remains flexible, adjusting gradually as conditions evolve. This movement is not a sign of instability. It is a sign of balance being continually rediscovered. Ice and ocean meet here without sharp boundaries, exchanging heat and motion in a way that feels restrained. Neither overwhelms the other. The interaction remains slow, deliberate, guided by forces that operate on long timescales. This gentle exchange ensures that the transition between frozen and fluid remains calm, never rushed. Because of this, Greenland's coast often feels quieter than one might expect. Despite being a place where systems meet and interact, there is little sense of urgency. Movement exists, but it is softened by scale. Sound is absorbed by distance. Change unfolds quietly, inviting stillness rather than attention. These coastal regions serve as zones of transition, where ice becomes water and land becomes sea, without clear endings or beginnings. Everything here is in between, resting within a process that values patience over speed. The edges of Greenland do not signal departure or arrival. They offer a place to pause, where transformation happens slowly enough to feel like rest. As ice approaches the outermost margins of Greenland, it enters a space where certainty softens and adjustment becomes constant. Here, the ice sheet no longer feels complete or contained. It thins, reshapes, and repositions itself in response to water, air, and time. This edge is never fixed. It breathes slowly, finding balance again and again without urgency. Along these margins, ice and ocean interact without sharp boundaries. There is no clear moment where one ends and the other begins. Instead, frozen and fluid states overlap gently, exchanging heat, movement, and space. The ice listens to the sea. The sea responds without force. Their relationship is ongoing, defined more by conversation than by control. Because of this quiet interaction, Greenland's coast often feels calmer than expected. Despite being a place where powerful systems meet, there is little sense of drama. Waves are softened by fjords. Wind is filtered by land. Movement is present, but never insistent. The coast does not ask to be watched. It allows itself to simply be. This calm creates a feeling that the edges of Greenland are not endings, but passages. They do not signal departure from ice or arrival at water. They offer a gradual shift where states blend rather than replace one another. Ice becomes water without loss. Land becomes sea without rupture. Change is continuous, but always restrained. Over time, these edges adjust quietly to long-term patterns. They respond to cycles rather than moments, to consistency rather than events. Ice advances slightly, then retreats. Water reshapes channels, then settles. Nothing claims permanence here, and nothing disappears completely. The fjords, glaciers, and coastal ice together form a system that values patience. Each part allows the others space to move slowly. The land does not rush the ice. The ice does not resist the sea. Everything proceeds with an understanding that stability is not stillness, but careful adjustment over time. In this way, the edges of Greenland become zones of transition rather than conflict. They hold the space between frozen interior and open ocean, maintaining balance without urgency. These regions do not pull attention outward. They invite inward settling, offering a sense that transformation does not have to be loud or fast to be complete. As this chapter comes to rest, the coast remains quiet, the fjords still, and the ice gently adjusting where it meets the sea. Nothing is finished here. Nothing needs to be. The transition itself is the state of rest, preparing the landscape for what exists next. Life that moves softly, carefully, and without hurry. In Greenland, life does not unfold with abundance or excess, but within clear and steady limits that quietly shape how everything exists. Energy is not freely available here. Warmth arrives only in brief moments. Light itself comes and goes. Because of this, life adapts not by expanding, but by refining. It learns how to continue with very little, how to remain present without urgency, and how to endure without strain. Survival in this environment is not about strength or speed. It is about careful use. Every movement, every process, every cycle is shaped by the understanding that energy must be preserved. Nothing happens without reason. Nothing is done simply because it can be. Many organisms reduce their movement as a way to conserve heat. In cold environments, motion is costly. Muscles generate warmth, but they also spend it. So life here chooses stillness whenever possible. Animals pause rather than pace. They rest between actions. They remain quiet for long stretches, allowing their bodies to hold on to warmth instead of releasing it. This restraint does not weaken them. It strengthens their ability to last. By doing less, they survive more. Some forms of life in Greenland exist in places that seem entirely inhospitable. Certain microorganisms live within the ice itself, inside tiny spaces where liquid water and nutrients remain trapped. These organisms are not exposed to wind or light. They do not experience weather. Their world is stable, cold, and dark. Life here proceeds at an almost imperceptible pace. Metabolism slows, activity becomes minimal, yet existence continues, quietly maintained inside a frozen structure that appears lifeless from the outside. This kind of life does not resist the environment. It fits into it, adapting so completely that survival becomes effortless. Plants in Greenland grow close to the ground, rarely rising far above the surface. They do not reach upward aggressively. They do not compete for height. Staying low offers protection. Near the ground, wind is weaker. Heat lingers slightly longer. Snow can provide insulation rather than obstruction. Leaves spread outward. Stems remain short. Growth stays compact. This closeness to the earth allows plants to endure conditions that would quickly damage taller forms. They do not attempt to rise above the environment. They settle into it. The summer season in Greenland is brief, and because of this, growth cycles are condensed. There is no extended period of warmth. When temperatures rise, life responds immediately. Plants grow quickly, flower, and reproduce within a narrow window of time. There is no delay, no excess growth. Everything happens with purpose and efficiency. Once the season ends, growth pauses. Life returns to rest, waiting again without resistance. Animals rely strongly on seasonal rhythms rather than fixed routines. They do not follow the calendar. They follow light, temperature, and availability. Migration, hibernation, and changes in behavior are timed carefully to these natural signals. By aligning themselves with seasonal cycles, animals avoid unnecessary struggle. They move when movement is beneficial. They rest when rest preserves energy. This rhythm allows life to continue smoothly without forcing activity during times when survival would be costly. In Greenland, silence is not simply the absence of sound, but a quiet condition that helps life conserve what little energy it has. Noise requires movement. Movement releases warmth. And warmth in this environment is something to be held onto carefully. By remaining quiet, life loses less heat. Animals do not call out unnecessarily. Wings are folded. Bodies remain still for long periods of time. This silence is not loneliness. It is efficiency. It allows energy to stay where it is needed most, supporting survival through calm rather than action. Cold environments tend to favor patience over speed. In Greenland, rushing rarely leads to success. Quick movement spends energy faster than it can be replaced. Instead, life here benefits from waiting, from observing conditions carefully, from choosing the right moment to act, and allowing long pauses in between. Patience becomes a practical skill rather than a moral one. Those who move slowly endure longer. Those who wait conserve strength. The environment quietly rewards restraint. The colors of Greenland reflect this same preference for moderation. Bright hues are rare. Instead, the landscape and its living forms settle into muted tones. Soft browns, greys, pale greens, and off-whites. These colors absorb less attention. They blend gently into surroundings rather than standing apart. For animals, this blending offers protection. For plants, it reflects limited growth and restrained chemistry. Nothing here seeks to stand out. Visibility is less important than continuity. The world feels visually calm, allowing both eye and mind to rest. Life in Greenland avoids unnecessary activity. There is no constant motion, no background of continuous movement. Every action serves a purpose. Every journey is measured. Even feeding and social behavior are shaped by energy balance. When conditions are harsh, life pauses. When they improve, activity resumes briefly and carefully. This rhythm prevents exhaustion. It ensures that effort is spent only when it will be rewarded. The absence of constant activity becomes a form of stability. This quiet restraint does not mean that life is fragile. On the contrary, it is precisely this careful limitation that allows organisms to persist in a demanding environment. Strength here is not displayed through action. It is demonstrated through endurance. Life continues by choosing when not to move, when not to respond, and when not to expend energy. In doing so, it aligns itself with the pace of the ice, the length of the night, and the rhythm of the seasons. This shared stillness creates a sense of harmony between living things and the frozen world around them. Nothing competes aggressively. Nothing dominates its surroundings. Instead, life settles into the spaces that exist naturally, filling them gently, without altering the balance that makes survival possible. In Greenland, adaptation does not feel like struggle. It feels like acceptance, like learning how to remain present without demanding more than the environment can offer. Silence, patience, muted color, and limited movement all become tools for staying alive. Not dramatic tools, quiet ones. And through these choices, life continues, steady, restrained, and deeply attuned to the cold world that holds it. For centuries, humans have lived alongside Greenland's ice, not by overcoming it, but by learning how to remain with it. Communities formed in places where the landscape offered just enough shelter, just enough access to food, and just enough stability to endure. Rather than reshaping the environment, people adapted themselves to its rhythms, accepting the presence of ice as a constant companion rather than an obstacle to be removed. Living here required an understanding that survival depended on cooperation with conditions rather than resistance to them. Ice was not something to be defeated. It was something to be lived beside, listened to, and accounted for in every decision. Over time, this relationship shaped daily life, encouraging restraint, awareness, and patience. Buildings in Greenland are designed to retain heat, reflecting the same careful use of energy seen throughout the natural world. Walls are thick, spaces are compact, openings are minimized. Warmth is held close, protected from wind and cold that move freely outside. Architecture here does not seek openness or excess space. It favors enclosure, insulation, and efficiency. Every structure reflects the understanding that heat, once lost, is difficult to replace. This approach creates interiors that feel calm and contained, places where stillness is natural and movement is minimal. The built environment mirrors the landscape itself, quiet, restrained, and shaped by necessity rather than desire. Daily life in Greenland follows light rather than clocks. Time is not measured strictly by hours and minutes, but by the presence or absence of daylight. When light returns, activity increases gently. Tasks are completed, while visibility and warmth allow. When light fades, movement slows, and rest becomes the natural response. This relationship with time removes urgency. There is no pressure to maintain constant productivity. Life expands and contracts with the day, adapting fluidly to what the environment offers. Long nights are a normal part of life here. They are not treated as interruptions or hardships, but as expected phases within a larger cycle. During these extended periods of darkness, life turns inward. Homes become places of gathering and quiet routine. Activity becomes more contained. Rather than resisting the night, people adjust to it. Rest is extended. Movement is reduced. The body aligns itself with darkness, finding steadiness in repetition rather than novelty. This acceptance of long nights reinforces patience. It teaches that waiting is not wasted time, but a necessary part of living in balance with the environment. Ultimately, survival in Greenland depends on balance rather than speed. Quick solutions rarely last. Rushed decisions often cost more energy than they save. Instead, life here rewards those who move carefully, who plan with restraint, and who respond thoughtfully rather than immediately. Balance means knowing when to act and when to remain still. It means using energy deliberately and allowing rest to be as important as effort. This philosophy extends beyond survival. It shapes relationships, routines, and expectations. Life does not demand constant motion. It asks only for alignment with the rhythms that already exist. In this way, human life around Greenland's ice reflects the same principles seen in plants, animals, and even microorganisms. Limited energy encourages careful choices. Cold favors patience. Silence preserves warmth. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is excessive. Life continues through attention rather than force. As this chapter comes to rest, the presence of life around the ice feels gentle and grounded. Humans, like everything else here, have learned how to remain, not by conquering the cold, but by listening to it. In Greenland, adaptation is not dramatic. It is quiet, measured, and enduring. A steady agreement between life and ice to move forward together, slowly. Greenland is not entirely ancient ice, even though ice defines much of what can be seen. Beneath the surface, there are layers of change still unfolding. Processes that continue quietly rather than resting in the past. The ice here carries age, but it also carries motion. Snow still falls. Water still moves. Pressure still reshapes what lies below. This makes Greenland feel less like a frozen memory and more like a place that is still gently becoming. Nothing is finished. Nothing is locked in time. At the same time, Greenland is not an open ocean. Water does not move freely here. It does not surge or spread without restraint. Instead, the sea approaches carefully, entering fjords slowly, meeting ice that has traveled far to arrive at the coast. The ocean pauses at these edges, contained by land and ice, accepting limits rather than erasing them. Greenland does not allow water to dominate. It receives it, holds it, and guides it gently through narrow paths. In this way, Greenland exists between land, ice, and sea. None of these states fully defines it on its own. Rock supports ice. Ice filters water. Water reshapes land. Each element remains present, yet none overwhelms the others. The landscape feels balanced rather than extreme, held together by slow interaction rather than force. Greenland becomes a place of connection rather than separation, where solid and fluid states meet without conflict. Here, ice holds water before releasing it. Snow does not fall directly into the ocean. It gathers first, compressing into ice, waiting within layers that decide when movement is allowed. Water is delayed, stored, and redirected. Some of it refreezes, some of it moves downward slowly, some of it remains held for long periods of time. This holding is not resistance, it is moderation. Ice controls the pace of release, ensuring that change arrives gradually rather than suddenly. Water waits beneath the ice. It rests in channels, lakes, and thin layers where pressure keeps it liquid. This water does not rush toward the sea. It follows gravity patiently, moving only when pathways allow. Waiting becomes part of its journey. Pause becomes normal. Stillness is not failure, but an expected state within a long process. Movement in Greenland is rarely sudden. Nothing here responds quickly to brief changes. Storms pass, temperatures shift. Yet the deeper systems remain steady, absorbing disturbance without reacting immediately. Ice and water adjust slowly, choosing stability over speed. This restraint creates a sense of calm that extends beyond the landscape. It suggests that not all motion needs urgency, and not all change requires visible action. As this chapter opens toward its close, Greenland begins to feel less like a destination and more like a bridge, a place where states overlap, where movement is guided rather than forced, and where waiting is woven naturally into the fabric of existence. Change in Greenland happens slowly, often so slowly that it feels almost invisible. There are no sharp turning points, no sudden moments where one state becomes another. Instead, adjustments unfold over long spans of time, measured in layers, in pressure, and in gentle shifts that only become noticeable after many years have passed. The ice does not react immediately to what happens above it. Water does not surge in response to a single warm season. Everything here waits for consistency before responding, as though the land itself is listening for patterns rather than events. Because of this, Greenland continues to adjust over time without ever appearing unsettled. Ice thickens in some places and thins in others. Water finds new paths, while older ones slowly close. Nothing reaches a final form. There is no moment of completion. The landscape remains open to revision, quietly reshaping itself as conditions change. This ongoing adjustment does not feel fragile. It feels resilient. By allowing change to happen gradually, Greenland avoids the stress that comes from sudden transformation. Here, stability matters more than speed. Quick responses are rare and unnecessary. The systems that define this place do not benefit from haste. Instead, stability is maintained through balance, through the careful distribution of weight, through delayed movement, and through the willingness to remain unchanged until change is truly required. This preference for stability creates an environment that feels steady even while it evolves. Movement is present, but it is spread thinly across time. Nothing rushes forward, nothing collapses inward. Ice and water often coexist here without competition. They share space rather than fighting for it. Water flows beneath ice. Ice floats upon water. Each adjusts its form slightly to accommodate the other. This coexistence allows both states to persist longer than they would alone. Ice remains intact because water moves slowly. Water remains present because ice filters and delays it. Together, they create a system that favors continuity over disruption. Neither dominates, neither disappears. This quiet partnership offers a sense of completeness without finality, as though the landscape has found a way to remain whole while still allowing motion. Beyond Greenland itself, this balance suggests something broader. Other icy worlds may exist in similar states, where frozen surfaces conceal moving water below. In these places, ice does not necessarily mean absence. Stillness does not mean emptiness. What appears frozen from the outside may be quietly active within. The idea that hidden water can exist beneath ice expands the meaning of cold environments. They are no longer defined solely by limitation, but by potential held in restraint. Life, wherever it exists, tends to favor stable environments. Not places without change, but places where change happens gently enough to be endured. Greenland reflects this principle clearly. Its systems do not overwhelm what lives within them. They create conditions that allow persistence through moderation. Stability here is not rigidity. It is flexibility slowed down, change stretched out long enough to be manageable. Through its immense scale, Greenland teaches patience without instruction. The distances are too large, the processes too slow for impatience to have any effect. Nothing can be forced here. Nothing can be rushed. The land invites a different way of perceiving time, one where waiting is not empty and stillness is not wasted. Ice does not sleep deeply in Greenland. It rests. It remains aware of pressure, of gravity, of temperature, even while appearing still. This resting state allows it to respond when necessary, without remaining tense or alert. The ice holds itself calmly, ready but unhurried. Beneath Greenland's ice, everything waits. Water waits. Rock waits. Even change waits. Waiting here is not passive. It is active restraint, a choice to remain balanced until movement is truly needed. As this chapter continues toward its close, Greenland stands clearly as a bridge between states, between motions, and between ways of existing. It does not hurry forward. It does not fall behind. It simply remains, holding ice and water together, patiently allowing the future to arrive at its own pace. Change in Greenland happens slowly, often so slowly that it feels almost invisible. There are no sharp turning points, no sudden moments where one state becomes another. Instead, adjustments unfold over long spans of time, measured in layers, in pressure, and in gentle shifts that only become noticeable after many years have passed. The ice does not react immediately to what happens above it. Water does not surge in response to a single warm season. Everything here waits for consistency before responding, as though the land itself is listening for patterns rather than events. Because of this, Greenland continues to adjust over time without ever appearing unsettled. Ice thickens in some places and thins in others. Water finds new paths while older ones slowly close. Nothing reaches a final form. There is no moment of completion. The landscape remains open to revision, quietly reshaping itself as conditions change. This ongoing adjustment does not feel fragile. It feels resilient. By allowing change to happen gradually, Greenland avoids the stress that comes from sudden transformation. Here, stability matters more than speed. Quick responses are rare and unnecessary. The systems that define this place do not benefit from haste. Instead, stability is maintained through balance, through the careful distribution of weight, through delayed movement, and through the willingness to remain unchanged until change is truly required. This preference for stability creates an environment that feels steady even while it evolves. Movement is present, but it is spread thinly across time. Nothing rushes forward. Nothing collapses inward. Ice and water often coexist here without competition. They share space rather than fighting for it. Water flows beneath ice. Ice floats upon water. Each adjusts its form slightly to accommodate the other. This coexistence allows both states to persist longer than they would alone. Ice remains intact because water moves slowly. Water remains present because ice filters and delays it. Together, they create a system that favors continuity over disruption. Neither dominates, neither disappears. This quiet partnership offers a sense of completeness without finality, as though the landscape has found a way to remain whole while still allowing motion. Beyond Greenland itself, this balance suggests something broader. Other icy worlds may exist in similar states, where frozen surfaces conceal moving water below. In these places, ice does not necessarily mean absence. Stillness does not mean emptiness. What appears frozen from the outside may be quietly active within. The idea that hidden water can exist beneath ice expands the meaning of cold environments. They are no longer defined solely by limitation, but by potential held in restraint. Life, wherever it exists, tends to favor stable environments, not places without change, but places where change happens gently enough to be endured. Greenland reflects this principle clearly. Its systems do not overwhelm what lives within them. They create conditions that allow persistence through moderation. Stability here is not rigidity. It is flexibility slowed down. Change stretched out long enough to be manageable. Through its immense scale, Greenland teaches patience without instruction. The distances are too large. The process is too slow for impatience to have any effect. Nothing can be forced here. Nothing can be rushed. The land invites a different way of perceiving time, one where waiting is not empty and stillness is not wasted. Ice does not sleep deeply in Greenland. It rests. It remains aware of pressure, of gravity, of temperature, even while appearing still. This resting state allows it to respond when necessary, without remaining tense or alert. The ice holds itself calmly, ready but unhurried. Beneath Greenland's ice, everything waits. Water waits, rock waits, even change waits. Waiting here is not passive. It is active restraint, a choice to remain balanced until movement is truly needed. As this chapter continues toward its close, Greenland stands clearly as a bridge between states, between motions, and between ways of existing. It does not hurry forward. It does not fall behind. It simply remains, holding ice and water together, patiently allowing the future to arrive at its own pace. As our journey across Greenland comes gently to rest, there is nothing left to follow, and nowhere else you need to go. The ice remains where it has always been, holding water, holding time, holding quiet change beneath its surface. Nothing rushes forward. Nothing falls away. If your thoughts are still drifting, you can let them slow now, settling like light snow across a wide, calm landscape. There is no need to remember what you've heard or to carry any idea with you. Greenland does not ask to be understood. It only offers a place where waiting feels natural and stillness feels safe. As the ice rests and the water waits beneath it, you are free to rest as well. Breathing softens. The day loosens its hold. Thank you for sharing this quiet space with me. Whenever you're ready, you can simply let go and drift into sleep, Good night.